Read this real quick.
This is the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
So you know what the Bible says? He said, I'm the Lord, right? He said, I change not. Let's see if he changed his people from the Old Testament to the New Testament. All right, give me Exodus 3 and 10. Exodus chapter 3 and verse 10. We're going to go from the Old Testament to the New Testament. And we're going to read some more stuff in the Old Testament and the New Testament, see if it changed. All right, read that.
All right, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 10. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel.
What we say his people is? The children of Israel, right? Give me Psalms 135 and verse 12.
Bring it out.
All right, Psalms 135 and verse 12. So we're going to do, we're going to see if it changed, right? We're going to go all the way to the New Testament with it. All right, read that. Psalms 135 and verse 12.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 135, verse 12. And gave their land for inheritance unto Israel, his people.
He said his people was? He said Israel was his people, right? Now, give me Matthew chapter 2 and verse 6.
There you go.
All right, let's see if it changed. Matthew chapter 2 and verse 6, read that.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 6. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the prince of Judah? For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people, Israel.
Did his people change yet? His people still ain't changed. He's still saying his people is who?
Well, don't get people out of Judah to rule over Israel.
Right. So give me the covenant. Let's Exodus what? 24 and 8?
Yes, sir.
Give me that. Exodus 24 and 8. All right. Let's see if the covenant changed, right? It changed a little bit, but let's see what it says. Read that.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 24, verse 8. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, Behold the blood of the covenant, which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words.
Will he make that covenant with? Because we're still talking about them same people. Remember, we went from Exodus all the way to Matthew, right? He made a covenant with the same people that was in the wilderness in Exodus. Now give me Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 8. Let's see if the covenant changed, right? Let's see if it's talking about somebody else or it's still talking about them same people, right? Read.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 8. For finding fault with them.
So for finding fault with them, right? He found some fault in them. Read.
He said, Behold, the days come, said the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel.
So the old and the new covenant is still for who? Still for us, right? Let you know that it's still our book and our Bible, right? Give me Romans chapter 3. Give me that. Romans chapter 3 and start at verse 1. All right, read that real quick. Showing you that these things didn't change. Showing you that it's still for us. It was written by us, for us, and to us. All right, read.
This is the book of Romans chapter 3, verse 1. What advantage then have the Jew?
So what advantage then have to being a Jew, right? Because there's some advantages of being a Jew. Read.
Or what profit is there of circumcision?
So what profit is there of circumcision? Because there was a covenant when you read in Genesis 17, right? Read.
Much every way.
In much every way. Why? Read.
Chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
So what's the oracles of God? The oracles of God are talking about this whole Bible, right? The whole Bible was given unto the children of Israel, right? Just like he read in Psalms 147 and verse, where he was at? 19, right? It's saying the same thing in the New Covenant, right? In the New Testament, it's saying the same thing, all right? He said, what advantage then? Who are the Jews? Who are the Jews today? Yeah. So you know you're a Jew, right? You know these things, so you know what you're supposed to be doing, right? So God does require something here in Deuteronomy 10. Come on, Deuteronomy chapter, as a matter of fact, let me hold it for a minute. Deuteronomy 10 and verse 12. Book of Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 12.
Bring it out.
And now Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
So you know you Israel, right? God said that he requires something of us as a people, knowing that we Israel. Because it's more than just, it's more to just knowing, right? Read.
But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways.
What do you mean to walk in his ways? Do what he say? Alright, give me some more. What do it mean to walk in his way?
Hold it, give me some. Obey. I guess obey his.
Right, he do. There you go. Right, you're right. Right, God wants us to obey. He rather for us to obey, right? Because God don't want to see none of us perish. But a lot of us hard heads, so he got to do what he got to do. Right, read this.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 1. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord.
So what's the ways of God? Walking in the laws of the Lord, right? Those ways are perfect according to God. That's what makes us perfect. Give me one more. Give me 2 Samuel 22 and 31. 2 Samuel 22 and verse 31. Right? Because remember I said the laws of the Lord is perfect. That's what makes us perfect as a people. Because we can be perfect, right? The world tells us that nobody can be perfect, but the laws is what make us perfect. Read.
This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 22, verse 31. As for God, his way is perfect.
The Bible said his ways are perfect, right? We just read his ways, which are the laws, right? Read.
The word of the Lord is tried. He is a butler to all them that trust in him.
The word of the God is tried, right? So they perfect because they've been tried. So those things are what makes us perfect, right? So we got to start to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. So you know about the Sabbath day? How do we keep it?
Don't eat. You don't eat. Don't drink. Don't have a fire.
Right.
Just get around and gather up, right? Gather up.
Right. So you knew that? Huh? Who? Don't work. Let me give you something else that you're supposed to be doing. Give me that in Hebrews 10 and what is that? 25.
Yes, sir.
Hebrews 10 and 25. Because see, by you knowing that you're Israel, we got to do these things. This is what's going to get us out of the conditions that we're in. God is a God about action, right? He want to see action. Read that.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 25. Not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together.
Not forsaking the assemblies of ourselves together. We ain't supposed to forsake that thing, right? Read.
As the manner of some is, but exhorting one another.
We're supposed to exhort one another. That's why we come together, to exhort one another, right? Because throughout the week we get beat up in captivity on these jobs and all these things that we go through, right? So we come to the Sabbath and exhort one another to get rejuvenated and ready to go back out there and take on the world again. Us to come together, right? Give me Zephaniah 2 and 1.
I got a question.
What's your question?
So, in the Old Testament, it seemed like it wouldn't have you admire another man.
What do you mean?
As in the Old Testament, it seemed like it pointed out the flaws in women as well. But in the New Testament, it's like
you don't think we don't have no flaws?
But I mean, I know we got flaws.
What's our flaws? What's sin?
The sin is when we go, when we do what our body.
Give me sin. Give me sin. Give me sin. That's a flaw. That's an error. We in error.
I'm trying to understand why people wear Christ on their shirt, or why people worship Christ, or why people name anything after another man who is not even close to God.
What do you mean he ain't close to God? Christ is a God, right? But Christ is not the most high God, right? The God used Christ to create everything upon the face of this earth.
I went to go out, but so in the Old Testament, it wouldn't put no man in that lane.
Moses was somebody Moses was great in the Old Testament. You had a lot of men that was great in the Old Testament. Moses, Isaiah, Jeremiah, all these men was great in the Old Testament.
We don't wear Moses on our shirts, or you don't see the temple of Moses. You only see the temple of Jesus Christ. I'm trying to see what made Jesus
Where you see the
Christ.
temple of Jesus Christ at?
Everywhere.
We don't look. One thing I'm gonna tell you, we not like the Christian churches, right? We don't follow all that Christianity and none of that, right? This is what we give me Deuteronomy 4 and 44. This is what we follow, right? We ain't with the Christian church. We ain't down with none of that. All right. This is what we follow. What God say. Read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 44. And this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel. These are the testimonies, and the statutes, and the judgments which Moses spake unto the children of Israel.
So this book is a book of laws. This book is a book of laws, statutes, and commandments, right? We didn't follow those laws, so therefore we got us at the bottom of society today, right? Just like he was going over Deuteronomy. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse 29. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 29. This is the problem with our people today, because they don't know the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. So therefore they follow them things like you're talking about. They follow the church or Christianity or those things, these different religions, right? Read.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday.
Hear what the Bible said? The Bible said that they're going to be groping as if it was like it's noonday. Read.
As the blind grope it in darkness.
So as the blind groping in the darkness, meaning what? They're trying to find their way, right? Read.
And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
Why we ain't going to prosper in our ways? Because as they groping and they're groping around trying to find their way in Christianity, trying to find their way in Islam and politics and all those things. Where God said, this is what you need right here, this Bible, my laws, right? So that's why we don't prosper as a people, right? Because we don't want to obey God, like you said earlier. We don't want to obey God. Give me Joshua 1 and 8. Because when we start to obey God, then we start to prosper as a people. Then these things start to change for us as a people. Until then, we're going to stay at the bottom until God says so. Right? Read.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth.
He keep constantly saying it over and over and over again. This book of the law shall not depart out of our mouth. Right? Read.
But thou shalt meditate therein day and night.
Why you think he said we should meditate? Because there's so much going on in the world today. There's so much stuff out there, right? That can deter our minds, right? He said we're supposed to meditate on this thing day and night, right? Read.
That thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous.
Then our way gonna be prosperous as a people when we learn to obey God. So, right? You said that you understand that you're an Israelite, right? You know you love God, right? You love God, right? Let's see. Give me that in 1 Corinthians 11. 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 3. Right, read that. Read.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
The head of every man, right, is Christ, because it's order, right? Read.
And the head of the woman is the man.
The head of the woman is the doggone black man, whether our sisters like it or not. All right, read.
And the head of Christ is God.
The head of Christ is God, the Most High God, right? Read.
Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoring his head.
You know what the Bible said? Every man that's praying or prophesying when the word come out, if his head is covered, you dishonor your head. So what you got to do? If your head is covered when the word is coming out, what you got to do? You got to take it off, bro. Because the word coming out, so you got to take. You say you love God, right? You say you love God, right? So you got to take it off. You don't love the New Testament. Why not?
I'm not sure about it.
What you not sure about?
I'm not sure about the way that it was written. I'm not sure.
What do you mean about the way that it was written? Give me Romans. Give me Revelation 13 and verse 9.
Bring it up.
All right. Revelation 13 and verse 9. Because a lot of our people like to believe that the white man wrote the Bible and stuff, right? That's what you believe? Or somebody wrote it. Somebody put that there.
The New Testament, I don't feel like it's the same. I feel like it's totally different.
What's different? Talking about different from the Old Testament? Yeah. It's an abbreviated version. Give me what's that? Matthew 4. Matthew chapter 4 and verse 4. I'm gonna show you something that Christ quoted that was in the Old Testament, right? Because the New Testament ain't nothing but an abbreviated version of the Old Testament.
That's
Read
right.
it.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 4, verse 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man should not live by bread alone.
What the Bible said, it is written. So Christ quoting some of the words written somewhere else. He said, man don't live by bread alone. Let's see where he getting it from. Give me Deuteronomy 8. Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse, what is it, 3? Read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 3. And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knowest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread alone.
Where Christ got that from? Christ was quoting that thing from the doggone Old Testament. Ain't nothing changed, right? Just like I showed you from the Old Testament who his people was all the way up to the New Testament. Ain't nothing changed. It's still an abbreviated version, bro. Right? It's just an abbreviated version, right? The Bible was written for you, right? Nobody else. This Bible was for us. But the man took it and tried to put their own spin on it and try to make it like it's for everybody else. And it's not for everybody else.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.